Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today on what is another beautiful day here in Hollandale Beach. Big doings today at Gulfstream Park as well. We're going to pay out that mandatory Rainbow Six. Brian Nato, Acacia Courtney with you inside of 54 minutes to post for the opener. A lot of excitement today.
Absolutely. Of course, we have graded stakes action with a champion in the spotlight today. Latruska back at what's become her home track at Gulfstream Park, which we're very excited about later in the Royal Delta. But of course, the big news everybody's talking about, mandatory payout in that Rainbow Six.
Yeah, we've gone here you see the graphic here, over 6 million. I've got the over, comfortably got the over today. It's a great day for it. A tough sequence. We all have tickets, myself, Acacia, and of course Ron Nicoletti as well. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The last 6 races today, and I think that pool's going to be giant, Acacia. It is a great, tough sequence.
It is. The Royal Delta, not in the sequence if you're worried about that. It's really competitive races, starting with a starter allowance. There's a nice turf allowance in there. There are a couple of really good maiden special weights as well, so looking forward to that, and we'll talk all about the details.
Yeah, a little bit after 3 o'clock. So just take note of that, and we're going to get to it. But the opener here at high noon, it's a $25,000 maiden claimer. We are on the turf, a firm turf course today. We're going a mile, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, in what is a tough race, I think. I went to the 2 Conundrum Queen, who just seems like 3 to 5 now as I look at the board. I've got back-to-back singles in my early pick 5 as well. I'm going to single early and then hope for a little chaos late in race 3. I've got a deep spread down inside Holy Berries on top in race 4. I've got Milliken. We'll show a replay of that. It's a very exciting race. A lot of comebackers with a lot of talent in there. And then in race 5, I go a little bit outside. Tidal Waters might get loose, and that's a theme we're going to talk about today a little bit later on. But I think Tidal Waters can get loose. Back to the opener. Conundrum Queen is going to take a lot of beating, I think. Second off the long layoff for George Weaver.
And I think she's been a bit of a conundrum for her connection, so to speak. It seems like she's been running once a year, so good to see her kind of putting back-to-back races together here. August 2020, March 2021. Then we didn't see her again until February 2022. She ran second for 25 that day. She comes back. This is another snug spot for her. Just seems to make sense. I'm sure she's been frustrating, but again, it has to be at least encouraging that she ran well and she's able to come back pretty quickly off that effort.
Yeah, I agree. And finally, like you said, putting back-to-back races together, and it just seems like she's the one in here. If you want to nitpick a little bit, my notes said she did get a dream trip off a collapsing pace last time, and she still couldn't get it done at a short price, too. So we'll see. You've got a trainer stat on the Wad Gold Liner who's going to debut for Armando de la Cerda with plenty of works in the holster.
Yeah, and as you brought up, right underneath on the bottom, it says first-time starters, not the name of his game. But I thought this was interesting as far as being able to grab a piece at a big price. This was kind of my thought process. Okay, you have your heavy favorite who's rightfully the favorite. What can you use underneath to try and find some value? So Gold Liner's a first-time starter. Yes, maybe the winners few and far between, but first-time starters on turf with maiden claiming. He's 6 for 13 in the money, and the horses that have won have been pretty generous prices. I thought Junior Alvarado picking up the mount was pretty key. I've seen a few of the firing lines between New York or the Mid-Atlantic, and they can run, and this one has a little bit of turf pedigree on the bottom side as well. Thought that if you're trying to find some value with the favorite, a first-time starter like this could be the one.
Yeah, and outside of the favorite, you don't have to be a monster to play with this group, because Conundrum Queen is certainly the one to beat. Coco Icing early in the betting, but I look over and I see 9 to 1. That's a very, very square price. She didn't run poorly last time and was only 2 lengths behind the favorite.
Yeah, I kind of passed on her. I just felt like she kind of runs the same race almost every time, it feels like. And to be fair, yes, she ran well behind who's going to be a very short price in that last start. I was trying to look for kind of new faces or drop-down runners. A drop-down runner is the 3 Chicka Boom, who, as far as the distances go, 2 back went a mile, and that was in maiden special weight where she ran 3rd up at Tampa, albeit, but this is a dropping class, so she's kind of a new face.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be tough to beat the favorite, but if you can, there's a lot of places you can go. Early pick 4 in race 2, a 62.5 claimer, fillies and mares 4 and up. We're 6 on the main track here. We both go to number 5, Capturini.
Yep, Jose D'Angelo just seems to be making every right move. Luis Ayas in Saudi Arabia, so Javier Castellano picks up the mount on this one. Ran 2nd behind Freezer Burn at this level last time out. just makes sense in this spot.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be very, very tough to beat the second part of my early single double in that early pick 5. Lunar Blast for both of us in second. Gerald Brooks comes back on short rest, which is a pretty positive move. 4 for 14 for the barn.
And again, with all due respect, a big rider change, picking up Jose Ortiz in here after this one finished 4th. It's been kind of knocking on the door. That was also for Open Claiming Company last time out and goes back into the condition on 3 today.
Straight try for both Acacia and I. Future Flay off the claim for Bobby Hess. A solid enough 16% move. Race 3, we get to the Tapeta here in this $25,000 maiden claimer, about a mile and a 16th. I go down inside Holy Berries for George Weaver, who could have a productive early first 3 races here. I think on the drop, to me, stretching out just seems like, at least to me, down inside maybe one of the ones in here.
Yeah, this filly, I just didn't know what to do with her.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't run a step
That's fair.
in her debut at Laurel Park, and she also was 5-1. I felt like for George Weaver sending in a Maryland bred to Laurel, you would think that she might have taken a little bit more attention than that too. So I just wasn't sure what to make of her. But look, it's a big drop in class. She tries the synthetic. She's got a pretty nice pedigree as well. So we'll see what we get from her.
For West Point, too, and not a lot of money on debut.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. You go to the 5% on the maiden special weight drop at Lasik.
And I know that she didn't do any running last time out either, but that was back in October. Antonio Sano takes over the training, and it seems like every horse that he has with Jose Ortiz named to ride, he doesn't reach out that often, and the ones that Jose tends to pick up seem to be pretty live. So that's my hope in here. This is actually my price play of the day. I think she'll be a price given the fact that the 1 may take some money, especially the number 2, Straight to Go, who's kind of been knocking on the door in the last couple. So I'm hoping that Presencia may be able to get the job done at a bit of a price with a pretty significant drop in class.
We're both getting bold picking Straight to Go in second because she loves running third. 0 for 11.
She does. Yes, she does. She does. Yeah, maybe that's going to be, maybe today's just the day for Straight to Go. But she was beaten as the favorite last time. She's 0 for 11, but she likes picking up those checks.
Race 4, we alluded to it at the start. It's a really good optional claimer. We go 6.5 on the main track. They're stakes caliber horses in this spot. Let's bring up the first replay of the day. I'll start it off. We both went with Milliken, and this is the race 2 back. Okay, the winner is the 6, Olympiad, who, people could argue, make the case one of the probably top 5 horses, up and coming horses in training right now. Milliken's going to try to run him down, and he can't do it, but this is a big effort here.
Yeah, Olympia just won the Mine Shaft last weekend. He's faced some top company, top quality horse. Milliken got a 96 Beyer speed figure running second here. Last time out, they stretched him out to a mile. He still ran third, and I just think it's not what he wants to do. I like the cut back here. He's buying to mischief. You could even see maybe 7, a little stretch for him. I feel like 6.5 should suit him perfectly in this spot, and I'm excited to see him run.
Yeah.
I mean, his debut at Ellis was really impressive, that 8th length score. Now the question is, what do we get from him? What do we get from Reinvestment Risk, who we see for the first time in a while? We're in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, came back sprinting in June on Belmont Stakes weekend, and we haven't seen him since.
Yeah, the layoff lines are a concern. I mean, obviously it's Chad off the long layoff, and you're allowed to think you get the best from Chad. He's so potent with these kinds. Irad's here, Seth Klarman, it all adds up. But as you alluded to, Acacia, it's been a long time since we've seen him, and then he ran in the Juvenile, he comes back in June, and then we don't see him again. What are you getting today?
Yeah, that's a big question for me, and I toyed with the idea. I said, does he come back really strong, and this is a big win for him? And I just felt like maybe Milliken at this stage has a little bit more blue sky, and you and I were kind of talking about this. I think it's by virtue of the fact that Reinvestment Risk was second behind Jackie's Warrior a couple times in Grade 1 races. Jackie's Warrior, a champion, of course, but that horse continued on in training and continued
100%.
racing, and this one we haven't seen. So he's obviously got a world of talent. The question is it still there? Did he go on as a 4-year-old?
Yeah, and I tried to split a chalky exacta here with No Q No, who if nothing else, I think is loose in here under junior.
Yeah, No K No was really impressive last time out. He was beaten by a horse that I know you're a fan of, and Richie, who's loved the synthetic around here. But Valso Gutierrez's horses have been running. This one's in good form, maybe not up to the class of the other 2 we talked about, but I think tactically has an edge.
Race number 5, it's exciting. I'll be interested in your analysis of reinvestment risk, too, in the paddock because, I look forward to seeing them. Exactly. Race number 5, we got a middle pick 4 we're kicking off here. Don't forget that.
Very popular
today.
wager always.
Yeah, absolutely. On the Tapeta, again, we're going 5.5 here. It's a 12.5. 2L, as I mentioned, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. You go outside a little bit to choose classic.
And I think you had said in your pick 5 you like Tidal Waters, thinking she may be loose. That was my thought process with She's Classy. So we'll see what happens here. She's off the claim. It's tough to improve off of Jane Sabelli for sure. And this barn has just run a limited number of horses. 6 starters at the meet. 5 of them have finished in the money. So we'll see what happens as far as this one. But I thought that she was going to be the speed. Emisael Jaramillo aboard. It's been a little while between drinks for sure, but if she can get loose, I think that's going to be the key.
Well, I thought Tidal Waters might get loose because Paco's here, and we know Paco is aggressive early, and I think that's a positive. Let's take a look at the replay here of Tidal Waters and Queen Calypso as well, and so. Here's Queen Calypso, the 5, in the back, and here's Tidal Waters is the 4. And to me, it's kind of like who ran the better race, and Queen Calypso comes back to win, and I just thought Tidal Waters ran very, very well in here.
Yeah, Phil Maurice was in that race as well, finished second. I thought Phil Maurice kind of just got the setup and managed to grab second, but Tidal Waters overcoming some adversity there and kind of taking that first run into the pace falling apart, which is always an uncomfortable position to be in.
Exactly. And Phil Maurice is going to run second, and then, as I mentioned, the winner is coming from the back. And I just thought this kind of first run, she had to do all the dirty work, and she was still around at the end in what is, as you can see here, a closer's race. So I think this puts her in the right spot. Maybe a little tough to trust, but I think she's one of the ones in here as well. A Delcat in the mix on the class drop, too, I would think, for Antonio.
And I don't know if I would say anybody in this race is easy to trust, so to speak.
Well said.
So I think it is really going to be a rider's race as far as who gets the trip.
One more before the break, and it's a big one. It's the Royal Delta, the Grade 3, and the return of the champion, Latruska. I'm interested in your thoughts on her. To me, she's 1 to 100 in here. She's so good. We saw her schooling in the paddock the other day. What were your thoughts about her? That's not my game, but she looked phenomenal to me.
Yeah, I thought she looked a lot better than she did before the Breeders' Cup, to be fair. I know there was a lot of discussion about her workouts leading up to the Breeders' Cup and maybe some questions there. And I've seen her run all over the country, which is amazing what she did in 2021. 4 Grade 1 wins. She took her show on the road. Yeah. She dodged nobody. She beat a champion in Monomoy Girl. She crushed Dunbar Road, who ran so well with a pace setup in the distaff as well. She took pace pressure earlier in the personal ensign. She took pressure late with closers. You have to just respect a mare like that. And it seemed to me physically from at that standpoint before the distaff, things were catching up with her. I spoke to Fausto Gutierrez the other day, and he said they traveled a lot last year. He wants to kind of keep her in a campaign this year where she doesn't have to travel so much. He said she's proved everything, and I just think it's really great for the fans that she's back running again this year.
I couldn't agree more, and she ran 8 times last year, and as you know, it just doesnn't happen anymore. And he, like you said it perfectly, dodged no one, danced all the dances. It came to an end in the distaff, but it was just, that was such a funky race. They went Breeders' Cup sprint like fraction.
Fast.
So, you know, she takes all the beating. Let's play devil's advocate, though. If she's not the same, if she, you know, needs a race off the shelf, Crazy Beautiful for Kenny McPeak is now a newly minted 4-year-old that could be getting pretty good.
She's a multiple graded stakes winner. I think hats off to Kenny with how he managed her last year. She might have been a cut below the likes of the Malathots or the Clariers in that division, and he chose the spots very carefully, and it worked out for her. She was able to pick up races like the Summer Oaks, the Delaware Oaks, and races like that. Now, she finished third in the Cumley as the favorite. Also spoke to Kenny. He said fitness is a little bit of a question for her coming back here, but she's got quality. She's won the Gulfstream Oaks over this track, and yes, you have to beat Latruska, but the goal is to get her to $1 million this year, and look, she can grab a big piece in a grade 3.
Absolutely, and you said it perfect. I mean, $627,000 last year, you know, picking the right spots. Kenny doesn't dodge anyone, so it'll be exciting to see Latruska come back. It's a perfect time to take a break, because when we come back, 6 races left. That means a mandatory Rainbow 6. Stay tuned.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round on her inside. Race.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian and Acacia, we got through 6. That means there's 6 left, and that means it's mandatory payout. Rainbow 6 million, 8 million. How much are we going to get in it? It's a lot of excitement today, and Ronnie's got a ticket.
Yes, he does, and we'll see how much it is. 97.20, big step up for Ron Nicoletti. It kicks off in race number 7 with a pretty salty race. He's got 3 horses in the first leg. In race number 2, I know the 2 Impressive Speed is his best bet of the day. First off the claim for Luis Ramirez. I read Ortiz aboard, Propensity in there as well. 3 deep in the 9th race, which is a 9-furlong maiden special weight on the dirt. Really looking forward to that. We're on the turf in a competitive field in the 10th race. Ron's got 3 in there. Chad Brown and Bill Mott and Todd Fletcher. Seems like you've got the right kind of coverage in that race. Competitive race in the 11th as well. 3 horses. I know you like Meteorito off the claim, as do I, and then 3 in the nightcap for Ron.
Let's take a look at your ticket, too, because this is a sequence where it's just tough to narrow down, and it's tough to get a strong opinion in any of these races. 86.40 for you.
I wanted to spread in the first leg, Brian. There was a scratch of Savoy in the second leg, so I considered singling Propensity, who I think is going to be the lone speed in there and is my best bet of the day. I ended up backing myself up with Impressive Speed. I've got 3 horses in the 9th. My tactic going through is in race number 12 in the nightcap. I'm tossing Thistle for Chad Brown. I preferred the workouts from his stablemate Growth Capital much more. I think La Machina down to the inside could run well too.
Yeah, let's take a look at my ticket. And I was, you and I talked yesterday about that finale, and it's we'll get to that in a little bit. But that's, that's a very noteworthy what you had to say. Here's me. I'd like to think I'm going to be alive after 3 races. If I'm not, I've got big problems. So I'm just going to spread, and then I get a lot more condensed in race 10, 11, and 12, and we'll just see where the chips fall if I can get there. But I do think in race 10 we're going to show a trip for Applecross. You could boldly single her to me because she had such a nightmare trip. I'm singled the Meteorito. It's not with a ton of confidence. I find her a little tough to trust, but in Jorge Delgado off the claim, we believe in Growth Capital and Vocalize, who we'll show a replay of as well. Let's start it off, Acacia. In race 7, we're on the Tapeta here, 25 starter, going about 5. So much speed in this race.
There is, and I ended up going to the number 8, Kasim, hoping that he's going to get the right kind of trip. Did win on the synthetic at Presque Isle back in September. We know that he can handle at least a type of synthetic surface. He's second off the claim for Carlos David. This is a horse I've actually been a fan of for a while. Thought that he was facing some pretty salty company recently, and we'll see if he can just kind of sit in the catbird seat in this spot.
I agree. I've got him firmly in my mix. I went down inside. Legendary Prince is my long shot today for the Mirages. They're very, very crafty. The fact this horse pops up, I think, today in a starter where he can't be claimed off the July layoff. He's got good turf form. He's down inside, and he can stalk all the speed.
Yeah, it's a good point. He'll be a nice price in here as well. Thought the 6 reconfigure was a little interesting. Will be tested for class, but he got a big figure for that $20,000 claiming win last time out.
And he looked really, really good doing it. And he's another horse that fits the profile of a little bit of a rating gear in a race, as we both said, tons and tons of speed. Late pick 5 here in race 8. We'll take a quick look at my ticket. It's a $64 play spread again, and it's the same. I'm wheeling right back with my Rainbow 6, so we won't get too in depth with it. But here in race 8, I agree with you. If you want to be bold, if you need a spot to single, you could do worse with Propensity. This is my old terrible post is a good post angle because there's no other thing to do but to send here.
Exactly, and that's my hope. I mean, there just doesn't seem to be any other clear-cut speed in this race. And he's taking a drop in class. He ran well 2 starts back, not so well last time. I know that the barn's been a little bit cold. It seems like early on in the meet they were kind of picking up some steam. We'll see what happens here, but Angel Arroyo has been having a sneaky solid meet with horses forwardly placed, so I think he's just going to send and hopefully just run everybody else off their feet.
Yeah, I agree. We're not going to show the replay because we know where Propensity is going to be, but I just agree totally. He's loose in here. If you want to think outside the box, I didn't think my man Flint ran badly at all, facing winners and better last time.
Yeah, it's a good point, and he takes a pretty big drop in class, too. Won at a huge price 2 starts back to break his maiden. The number 2, Impressive Speed, is first off the claim. Ronnie's best bet. Won on the turf up at Woodbine. He's lately been on the Tapeta, but certainly with Irad Ortiz, we'll see if we can get him the right kind of trip.
Yeah, and I think that horse kind of sort of has to be a price too. So Ronnie's got a bold one there. Let's look to race 9. And I'm very interested in all your thoughts about, just how these 3-year-olds stack up. We're now going 9 furlongs. We're going 2 turns in this maiden special weight, late pick 4 time as well. Montauk Point added Lasix last time. Seems to be going in the right way for Shug.
And I know that this is the half-brother to multiple Grade 1 winner Kofefe, who obviously was champion female sprinter. And I remember speaking to Shug at Saratoga saying that this horse is just so much longer, more scopy than Kofefe and will want distance. And so I really like the 9 furlongs. And I thought that he'd actually really kind of filled into himself, suited 2 turns last time, ran a pretty good race. Will show Shug McGaughey's stat for this horse is Javier Castellano will stay aboard. And this is second off the layoff on the dirt at Gulfstream. And he has terrific numbers, which I was expecting it to be a good stat, but it's really, really strong. 39% winning and a big ROI of 341 as well. So I like this horse in here, and I like that he doesn't need to come from too far off of it.
As you can see with my Rainbow, my late pick 5, I have no opinion in here whatsoever. But I think, maybe I hope that Magianera with Paco might, if not get loose, is going to be on the lead. And you mentioned it with a horse like Complete Agenda, these grinders. You need to be close going 9 here on this main track.
Absolutely. I think that Complete Agenda is going to try to come from off of it and just kind of run them into submission, so to speak. And that could be the key. Magianera stretches out. There is Bernardini on the top side. Thought that this one was pretty sharp on debut, so we'll see how he handles going a little bit further today, but it adds another interesting layer.
I used Bourbon Heist. When is the day, Acacia?
Yeah, and I had actually liked him cutting back to 7 last time, and I thought he mentally had improved a lot because he had been really difficult in Saratoga towards the start of his career, and it was just the same kind of race that we typically see from him. So I put him second because that's where he likes to finish.
Yeah, exactly, but it's a tough race. I think that's going to eliminate a lot of tickets if something outside the box happens in this Rainbow. Let's go to race number 10. We're on the turf here in this optional claimer. We've got fillies and mares 4 and up. We go a mile. Take a look at the replay of Applecross, who is in the replay number 9. She's the 5 today. Just nothing going right for her off the layoff.
Nothing went right for her. And it was the first time here on the East Coast, the first time for Belmont. She was pretty far off of it. And that's my question with her today, too, as far as how the pace may potentially play out. But she's in just an uncomfortable, compromised position pretty much throughout.
Yeah, exactly. And then she's going to come into the far turn here. She's going to check a little bit. And then she goes wide. And she is absolutely flying late. First time Bill, as you mentioned, off the layoff, checking out of it here, and she's going to have to go out. I thought it was a very, very big effort, and now it's behind her. Let's hope we get clear sailing today. To me, her ceiling is a lot bigger and a lot higher than the rest of these.
That's fair. I mean, and she was winless in California when coming to the U.S. and with Richard Baltus. That said, she was running against some very tough competition. She faced graded stakes types a couple of times, and I thought she finished up really well in that effort last time out. I did go to Star Seeking, as she's one who I thought was just a little bit more tractable, able to be forwardly placed, not a victim of the pace as much. Even in Europe, she had shown a little bit of a ability to be forwardly placed. So I was intrigued by her second off the layoff as well, second time in the U.S., and that running style was the key. Yeah,
I think she's the other one that can move forward, and if either Applecross or Star Seeking does do that, they might be too tough for these down inside. Black Sand off the maiden Torpedo win for Chad, certainly in the mix. I just wonder if maybe a mile's a little sharp for her. Late double time in the 11, 62.5, 2 L's here, going a mile. We both land on Meteorito. My best bet of the day, my single in the Rainbow, 34% off the claim for Jorge Delgado.
Yeah, and he picks up by Rod Ortiz. This horse is going to be a short price, and I realize it is a drop off the claim. So sometimes you don't like that, but Jorge Delgado was so sharp claiming horses and getting them to win and putting them in the right spot with the next race. So I don't put too much stock into it. I think he's the one to beat. I thought the 2 Vinny Dream ran pretty well last time out. Could potentially be a player in here. And then Iero is first off the claim for Jose D'Angelo, another really sharp claiming outfit.
Yeah, I agree. Comes back as a first-time gelding. Jose claimed him for 62.5 in December. Hasn't been seen since. A lot of speed in this corner, too.
Yes, absolutely. And he did no running last time as well.
Running. But another prolific barn off the claim. Race 12. We hope You're still alive. I hope I'm still alive, quite frankly,
Yeah.
and you as well. It's a toughie. It's not easy. We're going to show a replay of Vocalize in this maiden special weight here. We're going a mile on the turf, 3-year-olds here. There's not a lot going on with this replay, but I thought he ran pretty well. The winner was good for Wesley Ward. The runner-up comes back and fires a big shot, too. I thought Vocalize on the stretch out today with a major big-time pedigree is going to really, really move forward.
Yeah, out of multiple graded stakes winner Harmonize, she was best from a mile to a mile and an eighth on the turf. And yeah, the winner American Starlet wired the field pretty comfortably. In her second start, you'll see she didn't come back and win. She totally missed the break.
Yeah.
So don't hold it against her. Big
Good point.
Invasion got a 94 by her speed figure in his next start. So I think this is a really live race that they come out of. And Vocalize absolutely on the stretch out, I think will really appreciate a little bit more ground here, especially the way he was running late. I go to one of the Chad Firsters, and I mentioned this when looking through the sequence. If you watch workouts on XBTV, and I often really suggest this for people trying to look at some of these maiden races, it's such a good tool. You can see Growth Capital and Thistle, who's also in this race, working together on February 18th at Palm Meadows, and Growth Capital just absolutely crushes Thistle as far as the company. He starts a little bit inside, the mate comes alongside, and is just never able to catch up. Thistle kind of blows the turn late as well, just showing some greenness. We'll see how that translates to the afternoon. Chad chooses to run both of them.
Yep.
I thought Growth Capital was the one that I wanted.
Juddmonte Homebred and Thistle, Growth Capital for Seth Klarman. They paid $300,000, a son of Warfront. So a lot going on in the finale. Let's go to number 1, La Maquina, down inside for Danny Gargan with speed.
Yeah, La Machina, I think it is, as this one ran really well last time out and was actually a really big price trying the turf for the first time for a Danny Gargan runner that had run pretty well on debut. I know had an outside post to deal with, goes back down to the inside, and I think he's been coming along as far as fitness.
Outside posts are a problem going a mile on the turf. Urban Forest stretching out, 2 turns for the first time for Bill Mott, a Godolphin Homebred. Chasing the Crown is a full to Basilica, a multiple grade 1 winner. The parking lot with Paco. I think both of these horses probably can run. Problematic with the post, though.
Yeah, I'm going to be really curious to see Chasing the Crown. Those who remember Basilica, she started her career here at Gulfstream in claiming races and became a multiple grade 1 winner out in California. This is the full brother. So that's always exciting to see how that pans out as well. I think this is a really fun race. I thought Hilarious Affair was a little interesting, getting a bit more ground as well for Mark Cassie.
Yeah, and the barn has done really, really well at the meet and has really picked it up in the last month or so. That's a wrap. 12 of them today. We've got a champion coming back in Latrusca. We've got the mandatory payout in the Rainbow Six, 6, 7, 8, 10 million. I don't know. Remains to be seen. There's so much going on. But before we leave you, let's take a look at the lightning round. We'll start it off. First and foremost, we've got to mention it again. We're going to mention it a few more times, so get used to it. Mandatory payout in the Rainbow Six.
Yeah, we will. And as Ron Nicoletti would say, it's a beautiful day in South Florida. We're fast and firm. The Tapeta race kicks it off with the starter allowance in race number 7 today. Everything must go.
Speaking of Ronnie, he's on his way in right now, and he'll be on for the opener, and he is to beat the expert.
He is pumped and ready to roll for today. We're excited. Ron's excited. It's free to play. Go to GulfstreamPark.com and get your picks in. See if you can pick more winners, which has been tough because he has been picking everything right.
Setting the bar quite high. I brought him down in the nightcap yesterday, getting on his long shot. We did run second. The Stronach 5 was yesterday. Let's take a look at that. Overlay City, as our buddy Pete Aiello likes to say. Yeah, he really didn't have to come up with much.
You know, the $12 winner in the 8th at Gulfstream and $1,700. Industry low, 12% takeout. That dollar minimum wager will be back again next Friday, and it's always a lot of value offered there.
Next Saturday, not next Friday, but next Saturday, a absolutely huge day, both here at Gulfstream Park, Fountain of Youth, and at Santa Anita.
Big cap day at Santa Anita, and the road to the Triple Crown continuing here in South Florida. We'll have all 15 stakes for first Saturday. There'll be plenty of great opportunities for you to get involved and follow both of our premier tracks.
Yeah, we've got a great promotion as well, so just take a look at that on the website and all that. And then before we leave you, 105, we're going to go to a new post on Wednesday.
That's right. The days are getting longer, which is exciting. We've got some more daylight to work with. Post time moves to 105 Eastern on Wednesday. We've been around 12:30 on Wednesdays, so do note that we'll start a little bit later on.
That's it.
That's it.
That's a wrap. 24 minutes to the opener, about 3 o'clock for that mandatory Rainbow Six. We'll send it upstairs to track announcer Pete Aiello for the changes. Best of luck today.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place.
We back.
Northern Dancer, winner of the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
All the history, all these great horses, trainers, jockeys.
It is Barbaro to the final furlong. He is a neck and front. Barbaro wins!
It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Sunday silence surges to the front.
First day, opening day of the championship meet, I was kind of starstruck. You're watching LeBron James, and then next thing you know, you're playing basketball against him. That's how I felt when I'm riding with Donnie V, riding with Irad, Luis.
So many famous people come, Post Malone, Pharrell, J-Lo was there. It's epic.
The weather is beautiful. The facility is phenomenal.
It's all about Knicks Go. Knicks Go makes it 4 in a row.
It's one of the most beautiful tracks in the country, surrounded by some of the greatest horses and riders. It's amazing.
I grew up in Louisiana. My dad was a jockey, and my grandfather was a trainer. My grandfather trained in the backyard, so he had a barn behind the trailer house that we lived in. And so every afternoon when I'd get off the school bus, I was straight to the barn doing chores. I was an only child with no other kids around. You know, horses, looking back now, I didn't know then, but they were therapy for me. I just cherish them, they're best thing could have happened to me.